Marc Marquez has once again captured the attention of the MotoGP world, not only with his brilliant victory at the 2025 Qatar Grand Prix, but also with his surprisingly honest confession about a tense incident on the opening lap, a dramatic moment involving his own brother, Alex Marquez, that almost changed the course of the race. What really happened behind the incident, and how did Marc react to his own brother in the heat of the race? Let's discuss it. In the main race on Sunday night at the Losail International Circuit, Marc Marquez managed to secure his third victory of the season. He put in an exceptional performance, riding 22 challenging laps with great toughness and finishing 1.8 seconds ahead of his rivals. The victory underscored his dominance of the weekend, completing a perfect hat trick of pole position, sprint race victory, and a podium finish in the main race. Behind the glory, however, victory was just around the corner as he entered Turn 1 on the opening lap. In the early moments of the race, the riders were immediately involved in a close duel for position. In the midst of the chaos, there was a surprising incident involving Ducati factory rider Marc Marquez and his own brother, Alex Marquez, who was defending the Gresini Ducati satellite team. The contact between the two caused damage to the rear winglet of Marc's bike, creating a tense moment that almost resulted in both riders being taken off the track at the start of the race. What surprised the public even more was Marc Marquez's honest confession in the post-race press conference. Without hesitation, he admitted that the incident was entirely his fault. The contact with Alex was more my fault than his. I had just opened the throttle and I felt that the rear of the bike was unstable. Then suddenly I closed the throttle and he didn't expect it. That's why he hit me, said Marc thoughtfully. The incident also opened up an opportunity for Franco Morbidelli, who cleverly took advantage of the chaos at the front to overtake from the outside and take the lead. It was a small mistake, but it almost had a big impact. Luckily, we were both able to continue the race, added Marc. Unfortunately, luck did not seem to be on his younger brother's side. A few laps after the incident, Alex Marquez was involved in another incident while battling with Fabio Di Giannantonio for third place. The contact resulted in a ride-through penalty for Alex, which caused him to lose a lot of time and eventually only managed to finish in 7th place. However, his position then rose to 6th after Maverick Vinales was disqualified with an additional 16-second time penalty for not having the correct tire pressure. Di Giannantonio's fate was no less unfortunate. He failed to score any points after finishing just outside the scoring zone, in 16th place. Even though his bike was damaged by the contact with Alex, Marc Marquez performed flawlessly. He showed a calm and professional attitude as he reacted to the situation. In a post-race interview, Marquez revealed that he had barely felt the effects of the damage. No. I only lost the smallest wing on the seat. So I didn't feel anything that affected my performance, he said casually, as if to emphasize that the technical problem was not something to be exaggerated. This statement actually shows the strength of Marquez's performance this weekend. Despite the problems he had from the start, he was able to maintain the rhythm of the race and was consistent all the way to the finish. A clear demonstration that Marquez's experience and composure are still his main weapons in dealing with the pressure and unexpected situations on the track. The victory of Marc Marquez in the Qatar Grand Prix has a special meaning. It is well known that the Losail circuit is not his favorite track, and his last victory there was more than a decade ago, in 2014. This fact makes this weekend's result all the more special. I am very happy, especially because this is the most important weekend of the season for me, said Marquez enthusiastically. He also mentioned that there are some tracks that are more suited to his style of riding, such as Thailand, Argentina, and Austin. In Qatar, however, he felt he had to fight harder, knowing full well that his rivals such as Pecco, Alex, and Di Giannantonio are fast on this track. Nevertheless, Marquez's hard work from practice to the main race paid off. He put in a solid performance in every session, including a satisfactory result in the sprint race. In the main race, Marquez took a conservative approach, concentrating on maintaining the condition of his front tire so that it would remain optimal until the right time to attack. I just controlled my front tire. I knew I wouldn't be able to maximize my performance from the start because my riding style tends to drain the front tire, he explained. When Francesco Bagnaia started to push and finally passed, Marquez reacted quickly. He realized that this was a crucial moment to change strategy and start attacking. When Pecco passed, I said, "Okay, now it's time to start the race." I started pushing the bike, braking more aggressively, pushing harder and really using the front tire in the last 7 laps. The attack proved to be very effective. Marquez was able to pass Maverick Vinales to take an extraordinary victory that not only showed his maturity as a rider, but also put him back at the top of the standings. He now leads his closest rival by 26 points, an achievement that further cements his status as one of the title contenders this season. While Marc Marquez was celebrating his brilliant victory in the season-opening race, on the other side of the paddock there was an atmosphere of sadness and worry in the Aprilia garage. Jorge Martin, the 2024 MotoGP World Champion who had just made his debut on the Aprilia RSGP, was involved in a horrific crash at the Qatar Grand Prix and was rushed to hospital. Martin started the race from 14th position after 2 months off the track due to a serious hand injury that required 2 operations. Despite this, the Spanish rider showed a fairly solid performance during the first 13 laps, with a steady and determined racing rhythm. However, disaster struck on lap 14. Martin lost control of his bike and crashed before being hit from behind by Fabio Di Giannantonio, who had no time to swerve. The hard contact between Di Giannantonio's front tire and Martin's back tire created a huge impact that caused Martin to fall hard onto the asphalt of the track. Without wasting any time, the medical team immediately evacuated Martin and took him to Hamad Hospital in Doha for further treatment. Initially, the medical report stated that Martin had broken 6 ribs. However, the latest update from the Aprilia team the following day stunned many. A total of 11 of Martin's ribs were broken. 8 fractures were found in the posterior costal arch of the 1st to 8th ribs and 3 fractures in the lateral arch of the 7th to 9th ribs, read the official statement from the medical team. In addition, Martin also experienced mild pleural inflammation related to pneumothorax, a condition in which air leaks into the pleural space around the lungs, although he is still under observation and has not shown any further complications. The good news is that no damage was found to vital organs such as the brain, spine, or other internal organs. However, Martin's condition remains serious and requires intensive medical care. It is certain that he will miss the Spanish Grand Prix, to be held at the Jerez circuit in 2 weeks' time, a major blow for the Aprilia team as they continue to build momentum with their new world champion. For the time being, Martin will have to undergo an intensive recovery process in Qatar before being cleared to return home. The estimated recovery time is not yet certain, but it is likely to be quite long and could hinder his ambitions of competing at the top of the standings this season. The 2025 Qatar GP was a high-drama affair, not only on the track but also off it. This race was truly a stage full of emotion, excitement, and surprises. Marc Marquez's victory was not only proof of his consistency as a top rider, but also reflected his maturity in dealing with pressure and responsibility. Not only was he fast and intelligent on the bike, but he also showed a mature attitude in admitting the mistakes he made throughout the weekend. On the other hand, Jorge Martin's crash was a moment that shocked all MotoGP spectators and fans. It was a reminder of the high risks that riders face every time they take to the track. MotoGP is now looking forward to the next round at Jerez. Will Marc Marquez continue to move up the standings? And what will happen to Jorge Martin in his long battle to recover? Let us know your opinion below.